A very pleasant morning, dear students. Welcome to English grammar class. Today we'll just discuss on the grammar topics, the three different areas we are going to learn today. The first one is, look at the page number. All of you are requested to open up your textbooks. Take the page number 71, working with language. Look at these two sentences which are given below. He had to buy at least 5 books to last him throughout the week. Once again, he had to buy at least 5 books to last him throughout the week. The second sentence, Bipin had to ask Chumi to leave. Had to. It's a phrase which is giving us the meaning that the necessity or essentiality. Whenever we require to express the essentiality or the necessity, we use 3 different kinds of phrases. Have to, has to and had to. The total sense of using these 3 phrases expressing that anything that you require to express that's very important to you, that's very essential for you, and when you express the necessity of doing things, we use these phrases. Had to, have to and has to. As you all know, the 3 persons in English, first person, second person and third person. First person singular I and the first person's plural is we, and the second person's singular as well as plural is you, and the third person is he, she, it singular and they is the plural. So whenever you use the plural form of any of these persons, we have to use have to. I, we, you, they. Once again, I, we, you, they. All 4 forms of the persons we go with have to in present tense. When it comes to third person's singular, that's he, she, it, we have to go with has to. She has to do it. We have to do it. They have to do it. I have to do it. So whenever we have to use have to and has to and had to, you need to know in which tense you are using it. Whenever we are using past tense, we have to go with had to. Whenever we use present tense, in plural form of the persons of any 3 of them, we have to go with have to. Whenever you use the singular of the third person, he, she, it, you have to go with has to. Fill in the blanks using with had to, have to and has to. Depending on the tense that we use in our sentences, okay, you have to go with either have to or has to, or whenever it is in past tense, whenever you require to express the necessity or essentiality, you need to go with had to. So let's go with the first example which is given here. I dash cut my hair every month. I dash cut my hair every month. I have to cut my hair every month. Because it is your regular program every month, you have to go for hair cutting. So whenever you use I, singular, first person singular is I and the plural is we. Whenever you use plural we also, you can use have to. If you use the third person's plural they have to, I have to, we have to, and the other forms will be getting has to. Try to understand the change. If you are well versed with the 3 persons, plural and singular, you have to go with the right phrase of has to or have to. We dash go for swimming lessons last year. You are talking about something that's being done in the last year. It means you are talking about the past tense. When you use past tense, it's quite natural that you have to go with had to. We had to go for swimming lessons last year. We had to go in the sense you need to learn swimming because it is demanding to learn swimming. Whenever you are demanded to learn swimming, you have to use in past tense had to. Have you understood? We had to go for swimming lessons last year. This is not you're talking about now or something that's gonna happen a few minutes later or something that's being done a few minutes ago Okay, that's all comes under present tense. Okay, when you talk about past tense, you have to go with had to, but not with has to or have to. I think you reached to this point and you well versed and you have understood where you need to use had to and where you have to use have to or has to. Let's move on with the third question. She dash tell the principal the truth. She dash tell the principal the truth. What is demanded? The truth must be told. Okay, when you are demanded to tell the truth, you are not supposed to tell the lie. You say, I say the lies is wrong, I told the lie is correct, and never tell lies. Okay, in childhood you might have learned Johnny Johnny S Papa. There you might have seen the poem goes, the rhyme goes like this. Okay, telling lies. We are not supposed to say saying lie. Saying lie is incorrect way of expressing, the way of expressing the telling the truth or telling the lie. Whenever it comes to telling something truth or a lie, you have to go with the tell only, not say. Here you are learning grammar. You are not supposed to just learn the phrases have to or has to. Something that's being involved in this lesson, okay, where you need to use the right term or the right verb. So what is the verb that goes with the truth or a lie? It should be tell, or I never told lies, or I never tell lies. Okay, she told me the lie, or I never told her the lie. I always tells the truth. You should not say I always say the truth is incorrect. You must say I always speaks the truth is right. I always tells the truth is also correct. But you are not supposed to say. You are not supposed to express the word or the verb say. Is that clear, children? She has to, because when it comes to she, he, it, it's third person singular. When you use third person singular in present tense, you have to use has to. Suppose to take you use the third person singular he, she, it, but you are talking about the past tense, you can use had to but not has to. Okay? When the judge demanded her to speak the truth, she said something in her truthful way. That means she had said something in a right way. Okay, saying something in right way is correct, and she told the truth is the right way of expressing. So here you have to use the phrase has to. She has to. Let's come to the fourth one. They dash take the baby to the doctor. That means they in the sense here the parents. They dash take the baby to the doctor. Okay, the baby is not well, the baby is got sick, the parents of the baby is taking to the doctor. So they go with have to. So I told you at the beginning of this grammar point, have to, has to and had to. So whenever we are in present tense plural form, we have to go with have to. We should use the term or the phrase have to in present tense. They have to take the baby to the doctor because the baby's condition is not well. We dash complain to the police about the noise. We dash complain. It's not complained. If it is complained, definitely you have to use had to. Since it is complain, it means it is in present tense. So when you are talking about something that's happening in present, you have to use have to with plural form. We have to complain to the police about the noise. Romit dash finish his homework before he could come out to play. So Romit hadn't come out to play with the playmates in his street. Okay, Romit is still there indoors. We are talking still about the present tense. So Romit is comes under the third person singular, that's he. So you have to say Romit has to finish, not have to finish. Romit has to finish his homework before he could go out for playing. Okay, let us come to last one, seventh question. I dash repaired my cycle yesterday. Yesterday, last week, last Sunday. These are all comes under simple past. We are talking about something that had happened in the past. When we use past tense, we have to go with had to. So here you have to use the phrase had to. I had to repair my cycle yesterday. So he had to means it's very essential for me to repair my cycle. Otherwise, my moving from place to place would become very difficult for me. So he's talking about something that he need to do, that he is essential to do, that it was necessary for him to do. So he is talking about past tense, so we have to use had to over there. I hope you understand how these phrases have to, has to and had to can be used depending upon the tense form. Let us come to the second question here. Here are a few idioms that you will find in the story. Look for them in the dictionary the following way. What does it mean by idioms? We learn idioms and phrases, and sometimes we also learn the proverbs and the phrasal verbs. They all will convey specific meaning. Idiom is conveying something differently. When we learn an idiom, we are not supposed to break the words or separate the words and understand the meaning of it, okay, independently. Understand? We have to get the meaning as one particular line or in one particular phrase, okay. It is the phrasal expression, and we are not supposed to learn and understand the idiom by make them into different parts, okay. As a part you are not supposed to take up, as a phrase you have to learn the idiom. Idiom is conveying something, a concrete meaning, okay. It conveys a concrete meaning. It doesn't be learnt in separate words, okay. Let us go through whatever the idioms that we have seen in this lesson. First, arrange them in an order in which you would find them in a dictionary. When you open your dictionary and like to find out the meaning of idioms, actually when we open the dictionary and look for the words, we look up the difficult words meanings in dictionary or thesaurus. Thesaurus is not dictionary. Thesaurus will give the equivalent words meanings. Understand? It is not a dictionary. Dictionary in the sense it gives a literal meaning, contextual meanings, and also idiomatic expressions can be seen in the dictionary, can be found in dictionary. So let us come to the first one. The clue is given here. How you can find out idiom by looking up the meaning of it in a dictionary. Dictionary will help us to find out the meanings of the words, and how you have to find out the idiom's meaning, it's been given here. An idiom is usually listed under the first noun. How can you understand an idiom? What is the constructional way of framing the idiom, What is the constructional framing of the idiom, The first one is the noun. First of all, if you check any idiom, the first and foremost part that appears to you is the noun. Secondly, the verb. And the third one is adjective or an adverb in it. Ignore articles and prepositions in idiom. When you look for idiom in the dictionary, you are not supposed to take into your consideration those articles as well as prepositions. You have to check the meaning of the idiom on the basis of the given structure. First of all, an idiom can be found like this. The first word can be a noun, the next word can be a verb, and the next word is an adverb or an adjective. This is the way an idiom is constructed. So let's go and see what are the idioms that we have seen in the lesson, Bipin Chowdhury's Lapse of Memory. To help you, we have put in bold the word under which you must look for the idiom in the dictionary. In order to find out the meaning of the idiom in dictionary, so you have to hold the dictionary carefully and you have to check the meaning of it in a right order. So the first one is given like this. At from close quarters. What does it mean by close quarters? Means very near. My neighbor lives close quarters to me. Close quarters in the sense very near. What does it mean by close quarters? Very near. Close in the sense here, actually close quarter. Quarters is a noun and close is an adjective. It's a modifier. Okay, here close is modifying the noun quarters. Quarters means it's a colony like thing. okay, where all the houses are located nearby, and my neighbor is in very close quarters, so that whenever I was in great difficulty, I used to run to my neighbor because he lives very close to me. Close quarters in the sense very near, very near. Next one, break into a smile. Whenever you look at somebody that you know, when you come across any familiar person, you used to smile at them, and in return that person or a stranger or your close acquaintance also would smile at you. What does it mean by break into smile? Give a smile. Give a smile is nothing but break into a smile. Here break is the verb. Into you must ignore into because it's a preposition. And under break into something, that means you break the smile. That means you look at a person, you identify the person, because it's a kind of humanity. Even sometimes we don't know the person. If a person is smiling at us, in return we just cordially smiling to them. It means it's a kind of a formal way of greetings. Okay, you're not saying good morning, good afternoon, but if you break a smile to him, he also will smile at you. It's a kind of saying hi, hello, how are you, something like that. Literally you are not speaking to him, but giving a smile or break into smile is a kind of formal greetings that we are exchanging. Next, carry on. I'm little busy, you just carry on. What does it mean by carry on? You just go about whatever you are doing. Carry on means what? You just go on with whatever you are doing. Carry on in the sense, carry is a verb and on is the preposition. Have a clean record. Everybody likes to have a good character, isn't it? Having a clean record in the sense, having good character. Okay, we need to be expected to have a very good character. So, whenever you go to any place, no, suppose if anybody come to interrogate you or anybody is asking about your character, so what our neighbors would say, he's such a nice gentleman. I know him since many years. He has got such a clean record. Clean record in the sense having a very good character and being sociable with the people and mingling with everybody. And we also say that he's such a good mixture. What does it mean by good mixture? Easily mingling with the people. He's such a sociable personality. Or he's also having a very clean record. Clean record in the sense having a very good character. Beat about the bush means we just go about the same task, but finally we are not come to any conclusion. Don't beat what we say, beat about the bush. He always beats about the bush means what? It means he always goes about the thing, but he never come to any conclusion. He never come to one decision, but he says something which is not at all interesting to me. Okay, he always beats about the bush. Suppose if any person comes to you and keep on speaking something which is not at all useful, we say that this fellow is always beats about the bush. Understand? So let's continue this grammar class in the next class, and I request every one of you to go about these phrases have to, has to and had to, and also you have to look up the dictionary for finding out the right idioms. I request you to write a few idioms and find them out in your dictionary. Next class we will see you all. Until then, goodbye. Take care.